Welcome back to our third session of Site Management Bootcamp. So in today's session, we will be talking about the real estate, where in detail, we will be talking about what are the major challenges that has been faced by all the subsectors in the real estate. So in today's session, we'll be covering the residential real estate, commercial real estate, and industrial real estate. Okay. So firstly, going forward with residential real estate. As the definition that suggests over here, residential real estate is simply a property consisting of land and buildings on it, along with all the natural resources. So this simply states that a particular land that has been owned by the owner and the property that has been there on the particular land that has been owning, both the land as well as the property, along with all the natural resources, means the electricity, the water supply, and if there are a couple of trees that has been there in that particular land, say it is 1 acre land that you have, and if there is a coconut tree or if there are any mango trees or anything that will be coming in that particular site, and all of these properties will be owned completely by an owner. In simple terms, the land and the property above that particular land that has been owned is with respect to the real estate, where you basically will be having all the household related constructions. So this can be in various different types. So residential real estate over here, it can either be individual houses, or it can be duplex, how you see, or it can be a domestic apartment of G+4 or 5, and then there comes apartments. Also, there will be proper layouts that will come under residential real estate, as well as the villa setup. These all are different types of residential real estate, purely for the personal use for construction of a home. This is where the residential real estate comes into the picture. So now we have the real estate market in India. Let's take a small understanding on this. I know in the introductory session, I have spoken about what is the expected heights that Indian real estate can be reaching up to. So in that particular video, I had even mentioned it will be reaching as close as $1 trillion US, and it will be contributing majorly for India's GDP, for India's economy growth. So over here, I'll just give you with respect to figures. So in Indian real estate market is actually in 2019, as per 2019, it was as large as 12,000 crore rupees. So in US dollars, if you convert that, it is, as mentioned there, it is 1.72 million US dollars. So what exactly is happening here is, I'll just tell you, in 2019 was the time, it was before COVID. So during the pandemic, there were so many fluctuations happened with respect to various other types of real estate. Suddenly there was a huge demand for the commercial kind of real estate, where people were actually looking forward for workspaces. So few people were fed up sitting in the home. They wanted to take a normal workspace to sit and work at. So that came into the picture. And after that, there are so many startups that came up, especially in startup capitals like Bangalore, Delhi. There was a lot of demand with commercial spaces, for the office spaces that have to be rented up. So that is where the demand for the real estate in India is slightly growing, especially post-COVID. And in the current year, that is in 2022, there is a lot of growth that is happening with respect to Indian real estate. So based on thinking from all of these parameters, taking all of these into consideration, so the projected or the forecasted amount by 2040 will be about 65,000 crore rupees. So that huge it is going to be, and it is as close as 1.3 million US dollars. So this is just to give you a slight idea about how huge and humongous the Indian real estate market is currently. So here are a few major metropolitan cities, or the tier 1, tier 2 cities, I can call it, where property investment is in a nice boom. So if people are having a property investment destination, whether they are sitting in Delhi and if they want a property in Bangalore or vice versa, all of these ways, it is happening now. So sitting in one place, going and booking for a whole land in completely on the other side of the country, all of these things has been happening. So investments here and there is completely been happening. It has never been stagnant. So talking about that part, we have Bangalore, Ahmedabad, followed by Pune, and then Chennai and Goa, also Delhi. So Delhi, most probably it is concentrating on the NCR part. So this is where people are majorly looking forward for investments because it is at an affordable price. So in the current report, as per the current consulting reports that we have is Mumbai and Hyderabad are pretty much expensive to invest any property on currently. So after which investors are actually looking forward for these six cities where they are actually looking forward for a better investment, for a better rate of return as well. So apart from these, Dehradun is also one of the major cities where people are looking forward to have a proper investment, a property investment there. So this is just to give you a slight idea on how and which regions, which part of India has a higher demand with respect to the real estate investments. So real estate by itself has got a lot of challenges. So there were when were the slowdowns and when were the boom times that was happening with Indian real estate. About all these, I've actually mentioned to you guys previously. So taking real estate, especially residential real estate as a sector by itself, it is having multiple challenges to be faced. It has got financial constraints, operational and regulatory. So about every of these points, I will be telling it to you in detail. Firstly, coming forward with respect to the financial constraints. So here, I know you might be a little skeptical regarding what are all these graphs. So these were one of the graphs that is collected from the recent CBRE report, where they have collected data from over a decade. So from 2010 to 2020 is where you will get an understanding on the financial constraints. So using this mouse cursor, I will actually be giving you a small explanation. So this dark green color is where majority of the institutional investors, basically big scale investors, large scale investors are actually investing in these particular genre, in that particular vertical of real estate investment. So the dark green signifies the office, like it is mentioned here. The lighter green is for site or for the residential purposes. So this orange color one goes for retail, and then we have hotel and others. So I'm really ignoring from this retail, hotel and other parts. So I'll be concentrating on these three shades of green color over here. So you can have a closer look from 2010, 2011, 2012, followed by the other years. So there was a slight increase, decrease, again increase. There were many fluctuations, ups and downs that was happening with respect to office or the commercial real estate investment that was happening. So here there was a lot where residential investment took place on a larger scale, or basically people wanted to invest in sites alone or the land alone. But after the pandemic has happened, after the COVID year started, literally the percentage has like literally been increasing from 39 to 41. So this is where you'll have to concentrate, that this became one of the challenging aspects with respect to residential real estate. And that lighter green is like hardly 2%, like you can see over here on top. This is for the site investments, and then this is for the residential. So this was one of the major challenges faced from residential real estate sector in India. So there were not many investors who were ready to invest in the residential real estate land part. So that was one of the major constraints. And apart from that, the banks also took a step back. So over here again, when COVID-19 came up, you can see that it was like literally gradually increasing. So post 2018, these banks have also taken a step back in providing any funds. So NPAs over here is nothing but non-profitable assets. So for non-profitable assets, banks were not really lending loans. So they had a lot of background checks that is to be made with respect to residential real estate the common people will be actually investing for. So this is where the financial constraint on the whole, it did challenge a lot for the Indian real estate sector. So how exactly we could like manage this? So mostly now I will take an example of apartment construction. Say for example, there are, it is a G plus 10 apartment and you have of about 200 to 300, 200 to 300 flats that is out for sale. So what happens usually when the construction is usually happening, before the construction starts, a prediction of it and a model flat of it will be made, and then it will be portrayed to the people outside. I'm sure everybody will be knowing about this particular fact. There'll be one model flat, and then it will be as a showcase flat for the people who will be coming as a final product, how it will be looking with after the interiors and after the furnishing and all of those. So after that is where they try to raise funds for that particular construction that's happening. Usually it becomes a little challenging for a developer for building the whole of this huge mass construction that has actually been taking. So here what happens, the developers had to focus more on the project completion. So as promised, if that particular project is delivered on time, the trust that will be built amongst the people who will be investing will definitely contribute a lot for the sales of these flats that will be happening. So that is how the accelerating of the sales velocity will take place. So here what happens, they'll have to categorize all of the developers. Who are the tier 1 developers, who are the tier 2. So based on what ticket size they have, that particular project size, if they start taking, it would become very easy for rising of their funds and for finishing of their particular whole project delivery. So that is one thing that they can do. And apart from that, with respect to the financial constraints only I'm talking about. So here, next moving forward, we have discounts and some additional schemes. Say for example, now when Diwali offers are going on, or Christmas and New Year offers that will be coming up. So for a limited time period, if there is a certain amount of discount for one whole flat. Say for example, there is one flat put up in the northeast part of Bangalore, and it is costing somewhere around 1.2 crore. So somewhere around 20 lakhs of a discount price, if you run only for a short period of time, that will accelerate the number of sales. So people will be coming over for a purchase, and the more they focus on the closer by amenities and all of this way it is there, it will start accelerating the sales of the flat that has been constructed. And then now coming to bring in some viewers to change. So when there are some investors who are coming up with other land proposals, these things that will be happening with respect to financial terms. Not everything can be happened or measured with respect to money. So when there are other sources of investments that has been happening, or if there is any alternate investment funds that has been happening with respect to the construction of that particular apartment, this will all be contributing for the sales of that particular apartment or the flat. And then at last, they have to adopt the latest marketing schemes. So this is where maximum amount of residential homes or villas or apartments, say for example, all of these things will be selling on a larger scale basis and on a faster pace. So now, because for example, before marketing and all like used to definitely happen on newspaper ads, or it would be on televisions, or it would be on radio, because people used to travel by and they used to listen for FM. But now it is like phone is the only way of communication that is happening with everybody. So that is where people should introduce or implement, especially the developers, they have to implement all of the digital marketing schemes, because the phone is the only way through you can actually have any one of the lead who will be interested in purchasing a buys or not. So based on that, they'll have to have a small history on what previous interest that particular person has. So based on that, there'll be certain set of algorithms that will be set who would be interested in buying of this ticket price of a house, be it flat, be it villa, based on their budget streams. Next, we have with respect to operational constraints. So operational constraints, definitely. So for a construction of a residential house, I am still sticking with the same example of the apartment. So over here, again, the prices of all the basic materials. Cement and steel are the two basic materials where the construction of any project will be taking place. So this has happened in a city-wide sector. So again, you can see over here, the darkest green, it is for Mumbai, then we have for Delhi, then there is Bangalore, followed by Hyderabad, Chennai, and Pune. So let's just stick to one example. So I will take Mumbai, for example. So because this is there at the first, and it will be easy for a comparison that is to be happening. So now taking steel prices from 2015 to 2020. Okay, so Mumbai steel prices, it was up and down, like you can see. But after the pandemic year, again from 2020, the prices of the steel got increased. Not only in Mumbai, you can have a comparison with respect to Delhi. It definitely did increase over here. With Bangalore, it is an increase. With Hyderabad, it's an increase. With Chennai, it's an increase, and also with Pune. So this they've taken with top 6 metropolitan cities, and this is very much similar for the whole nation, where the prices of the steel were gradually increased after the pandemic. So operations became a little hectic. It was a little stuck by, because there were no cash flow that has been running. People stopped on investing on residential real estate. They stopped buying houses. So based on all of these, the supply chain demand, the supply and demand got definitely affected a little. So the basic material for the construction, that is for steel prices, the cement prices, the aggregate, the sand prices, all of those things slightly kind of increased, and it affected on the completion of the projects. So there were, now I'll give you an example where you can understand this particular concept easily. Say, for example, in 2018 or 2019, a developer would have actually purchased a land and he would have started with his construction. So foundation level is over, plinth level is over. So now he is in the stage where he has raised columns, and now he's in a construction of the slab stage. So in this particular point of time, there whatever he would have predicted that this particular project will be delivered on time and with so much money and all, right? All of those things started affecting, and that's why the operation of that particular construction would have stopped or would have taken a little step back. So this is where it definitely did hit on the residential real estate. And how exactly could that happen? Managing operational constraints will be happening, adopting all the new technologies that is there in construction. One, it is the building information modeling. Definitely you would have heard about the BIM technology, and then the AR/VR. So like I mentioned about the model apartment, the model flat or the showcase flat that is there for the clients who will be coming and having a look at the house, the buyers basically. So instead of having a model flat, keeping all of those things ready, it's an extra investment that's happening. So if they instead invest in technologies like augmented reality or virtual reality technologies, so it is a normal programming where they put that particular headset where a plan of the building will be inserted in it, and where all the pipelines, where the wiring, where the plumbing and the electrical lines will be passing through, all of those things will be visualized in such technologies. So based on that, they can view, having a skeleton structure of that apartment only, they can still view how the finished product would come. So such adaptation will definitely work in operational constraints. Apart from that, in the site where materials are actually, definitely there is an inflow and outflow of materials that will keep happening in the site. So the data analysis should be done properly. At what time, what is the quantity of the cement or the steel that was actually delivered to the site? When was it delivered? So based on this, you can start gauging what amount of materials that you will be having. It will come for how many months for the next construction that has been there. All of those sequence of activities should be planned. Then we have quality checks, definitely. So cement can't be like stored without having any shelter or anything like that. Just in case if there are some rain water that has been spilling inside that storage area, then the cement starts getting hardening. So those quality checks, those precautions, those auditings, everything should be there. And definitely there is going to be this CCTVs and these tracking devices where you will have a track on how many amount of materials did come to the site, and what is the plan of these particular materials, as in when and how, for which particular slab, how much material is to be used. If all of these site management related inch of the details has been taken care, definitely they will have a plan for at least next 4 to 5 months for a short term planning that they will be having. So that is why site management comes into the picture very importantly. Then we have for interior fit outs also. So there is going to be snap fit designs, or there is going to be dry fixing of these tiles. So there'll be gypsum boards. So these are the various kinds of alternatives where the acceleration of the whole construction or the finishing of the particular flat or the apartment will be done. And apart from that, coming to the whole construction technology itself. So my construction, as you all know, it is the very fastest way of constructing. So my construction, my technologies, or the prefabricated walls, all of these kind of technologies should be adopted, and this might overcome all of the challenges that is faced for the operational way of the construction of the residential real estate. Now coming to the regulatory constraints. So regulatory is basically about the legal approvals that is sanctioned from the government bodies, the local bodies, all of them. So whole of this particular process, I know it is mentioned over here as 6 to 9 months or even more. I would definitely stick with even more, because it completely depends on the size of the project. Just in case if it is a 30 by 40 site that you are looking forward for. So if it is a 30 by 40 site, then maybe that particular land approval, and also if it is in one of the layouts that is put up, then the approvals become slightly easier than acres of land where you'll have to take tools, because there might be an electrical line that is passing by, or maybe the drainage system wouldn't have been planned there, just in case if it is in the outskirts. So those particular departments should actually be giving approvals for that land acquisition. So here there are a couple of them I would like to mention. So on the first, it is this whole tabular column is divided into 3 parts. So I'll just give you a clarity. Yeah. So here there is project stage, and then you have the key approvals, and then you have what is the estimated time. Firstly, you have for approvals that's obtained for license. So OC, it is the ownership certificate. What is the land use conversion? And then there will be NOC from the Pollution Control Board and the development license. These are the basic licenses that you should have before owning that particular land. And minimum of that, it is averaging from starting 15 days till 18 months. That is close to 1.5 years. This is for the licensing part of it. So definitely this will be having a huge constraint with respect to acquisition of land. So acquisition of land only it is taking around 1.5 years. Imagine how much of time that it will be taking around for completion of the project also to be happening. Now we have completed that stage also. You would have got all the license, and then the land is under your name. So approvals of these building plans now. So all of them, it should be based on the standard norms of that particular area. Now, say for example, in Bangalore, in HAL, because of the HAL that has been put up over here, we can't really, too many high-rise towers can't be, skyscrapers basically can't be built in and around Bangalore. So in that way, there will be local standard norms that will be provided in that particular locality. So what are the road clearance? If a person, say for example, Mr. A, he wants to take a particular land that is there in the outskirts, for his own personal reason, maybe he wants to develop a resort out of it. So there, that particular pathway wouldn't have been there. So he should get permission for the access of that particular road as well. And then coming to the heights, then they have the building layout approvals, and then there is commencement certificate. So all of these also will be taking roughly close to 3 to 6 months of time. So again, these are next set of approvals from the local bodies where you'll have to be receiving. So in Bangalore, it happens from BDA that you'll have to be taking approval. So based on, it depends on every department. So if you want water supply that is to be there from BWSSB, you'll have to take the sanctions. For electrical department also, it is going to be the same. And then when it comes to land acquisition, definitely there is going to be BDA and other local government bodies. So from various departments, various approvals has to be taken. So definitely it is a time consuming and one of the major constraints that is there for a residential real estate that is happening. And then when it comes to approvals for construction, here, as I mentioned like previously, so you will want permission for everything, for the electrical loading, for electrical wiring or the connections that is to be happening, because not more than the standard voltages or the watts that it can be provided with that particular project. And then we have permission for the sewer lines, for water supply. All of these works will definitely hamper and it will cause a little delay with respect to handing over of the projects. So how we can try to change this? I'll just put this back over here. Yeah. So how we can overcome these regulatory constraints is that all of these particular projects and the approvals that has been required for the projects, right? Everything should be completely streamlined, or there should be a single window clearance. It is like, see, now since digitalization is definitely happening in India on all the scale basis, what I am telling is there should be one portal where people can get sanctions of the approvals that has been happening based on various proper documentation, verification, all of it. So there should be one window, there should be one platform where they can happen. Definitely now slowly this one government bodies have been adapting all of these particular technologies, but it should happen on a larger scale because that's when the project also gets delivered faster. So that is one of the ways it can overcome. Then comes for relaxation of the risk of weightage norms. So over here, what exactly we meant is based on the risk or the norms, the standard norms that has been there, there should be some standard set of following all of the standard norms where that will help in contributing for the faster delivery of the project. And then we have consolidated verification portal. So this is very similar to the ones which I told. So there is going to be, if there is only one portal for document verification purpose. So once it has been cleared, and then you can directly go that you can upload all of the documents so that you will have to wait for the approvals from the other side. So from there, you will get complete approvals and then you can start downloading the documents, the legal documents that is required for the sanctioning of that particular land. So this is where these portfolios or these portals or the platforms will be helping in the picture. And then coming to digitalization of the land records. So land record has a lot of paperwork. So starting from geotechnical investigation, starting from survey papers, starting from what is the history of that particular land that has been there. Previously, who was owning this particular land, afterwards who owned, and what are the clearances that it is required. All of these things are all the paperwork that has been there. So now slowly it has been changing. It is getting into the digitalization part of it. So all of these records, if it is there online, now it is going to be like very easy. Then we have grant infrastructure status. So here again, infrastructure status is nothing but to provide, if it is a little isolated or if it is a little outskirts of any of the cities. So granting of electrical supply, or there should be one whole tower that should be set up, or the supply of the water, all of these grants should be as fast as possible is what it has been suggesting. In a similar fashion, rationalization of both ready reckoner and the GST on the real estate. So over here, rationalization means it is streamlining things. It is like having a particular standard sequence of work that has been happening. Ready reckoner by it, I mean, is like the schedule of rates. So that is where the standard of all the rates with respect to construction of the construction materials, the construction of the projects, all of these standards will be provided by the government bodies. So these rates and the GSTs, how exactly it is directly implementing for the real estate, all of these breakdowns, if it is mentioned in a very structurized form, right, there will be a lot of clarity and it will be with ease of the movement of the work that could be happening. So this is where in the residential real estate has its own challenges, and how it can overcome all of these challenges was been explained over here. So you being site engineers, when you are working for residential projects, when you are working for apartment constructions or a villa construction, maybe most of you will be a part of the interior fit outs. So these are the various challenges that you will have to understand, and from all the perspectives, keeping these things forecasted, thinking a little in the future and pre-planning things would definitely work, and having that particular buffer amount of time before the project delivery is would be recommended. So this is where financial, operational, and the regulatory constraints was there with respect to residential real estate. So by that, we come to an end of the residential real estate sector. In the next segment, we will be continuing about the commercial real estate. So thank you till then.